Hello and welcome. Today, let's talk about a comparative topic. The comparison between houses and house lords, like the first house, means our personality, how we feel, how we look, and our longevity nature. Everything comes under the first house, and the first lord shows the same. So, what is the difference between the two? How do both of them function? In this comparison, or in the behavior of both, the importance they give to certain aspects will show a significant difference. The topic is small but very relevant. This will also change the production. For example, if the first lord goes into the second house or the second lord comes into the first house, the topic is the same. But let's understand where and how the difference comes in. Today, let's get started. To understand the difference between Bhava and Bhavesh, each house has its internal and external significations. Let's talk about that. The first house is external attributes: body, appearance, form, personality, identity, internal attributes, habits, success, morality, culture, mindset. These include body, physical appearance, form, complexion, personality, and identity. The internal attributes that matter more to us or are non tangible include our habits, how we handle success and failure, morality, culture, family dynamics, longevity, feelings, and mindset. If so, when we talk about the second house, its external attributes include the right way of speaking, speech, wealth and savings, family status, and pressure items. What we have as our accumulated wealth at home falls under the internal aspects. What are our family traditions and cultures? What are our values like? What food interests do we have? How much treasure is there in the family? And what is real happiness in the family? In the first part, we talked about the external attributes, where we discussed status. Status means that you are really happy, which comes from those internal attributes. Let's take the first house. When we talk about the seventh house, it includes external aspects like open enemies. Maybe that's why this person was chosen for marriage, because in the sixth house, the enemy is hidden. They are not visible. Let me tell you that many people also consider the 12th house as a hidden enemy, but many people learn, I consider hidden enemies in the seventh house as well, which also includes open business partnerships. Public platform marriage is basically how society sees you as a couple. But internally, how happy are you? That falls under our internal significations of the seventh house. Intoxication, pleasure, and the journey of fame. This falls under internal matters. I'm discussing all this because this is where the major difference will come. Now, let's talk about the levels between Bhav and Bhavesh, but we understand both of them. The meaning of Bhava is what nature has provided us. For example, if a planet comes into the ascendant by itself, it is moving into the ascendant on its own. For example, let's say Venus has entered the ascendant. So, the qualities and attributes of Venus, its rulership, have been provided to you very easily by nature. It's good for your ascendant, but it can be bad for your ascendant as well. Depending on how it impacts you according to your zodiac sign, it has come to you naturally now. Wherever the house lord goes, it influences that house. So, Bhavesh means what you are driving towards. The outfit house means what you already have, and the house lord means what you are working on. That's the first difference. Okay? The second difference is that Bhava works like our body, while Bhavesh operates on a soul level. I'll tell you how to use this. The third difference is that Bhava works as a resource. This means that if any planet is sitting in a house, it uses the resources of that house, while Bhavesh works like a purpose, meaning I have one purpose and I need to achieve this target. We will understand all these points through charts, and this will be our basis. To explain the difference when a planet is sitting in a house or when Bhavesh is sitting in a house. Basically, if the first lord goes into the second house or if the second and first lords are in each other's houses. In this, we will learn to differentiate what the role of Bhavesh is. Listen very carefully. The role of Bhavesh is to influence that house. just like I talk about the ascendant Lord. We said that the internal attributes are our real happiness and our feelings, and that's the role of Bhavesh. Now, the role of the ascendant Lord will be to save our real feeling. How are you appearing externally, and how are people receiving you? It's more important for that house, especially the first house. For the first lot, your feelings become more important. So, wherever it sits, it tries to use the tangible assets of that place to safeguard its internal factors. Basically, Bhavesh operates on a soul level. It means that I can safeguard the soul or real happiness of any house. The person who has feelings wants to secure them, external or tangible assets, like the second house will focus more on savings and wealth, but the second lot will pay attention to this aspect. That's how truly happy family bonding and culture are. You need to watch out for what to do, but the focus of the second lot will be on this aspect. That's how you're truly happy with your salary, what the family bonding and culture is like, what you need to watch out for. Now, when we are talking about verses, this is what it means. This is a battle where the house planet influences more, or the planet influences the house more. If a planet weakens, the second house demands work for us. Your feelings don't matter. You must earn for the house. But if the Lagna Lord strengthens in the second house, your feelings matter. You want happiness in your family by using its resources. We'll discuss this further. If the Lagna Lord is becoming strong in the second house, then what matters to you? Is your feeling. You want to feel happy, being in your family, by utilizing the resources of your family. Let's talk more about this. Let's understand all these points with one chart. As you can see, in this case, the Lagna Lord has gone to the second house. It is of even sign, and there is no Balfour conflict on it. He is decently placed. So what would this native want? This native would want me to uplift my feelings by using the resources of my family, by using my status. I want feel good factor. I don't want my family using me and their growth, and later, I don't want to live a life of marbles to add on to my savings. But if the same Lagna Lord were to go into the second house and influence it more, if it were to be losing its strength there, then the family would say, you need to earn for us. This is a major difference. Now, we first talked about the purpose of the Bhavesh. Now, he is using the second house for their growth. For the growth of the Lagna, they also need to grow in the first lot. Good transformation and loss of inheritance, whatever it is, needs to be safeguarded by the first and A. He is using the resources of the second house through the second house. We talked about this. Now, like when the fourth Lord comes into the first house, what is the role of the fourth Lord? Valuing the real happiness of the family means that the native is also using themselves for that real happiness. So, the real happiness of the family really matters to this native. If you look at the fourth house, there is the Sun and Venus there, and a central triangle, Raj Yoga, is definitely formed. But we can't say that the Sun and Venus consider each other as enemies. There is also Mercury there, which is not a good planet for this Lagna. So, what's happening at home on you want to uplift feeling? In the house, there is a board that is leaning towards status because the center has a Raj Yoga. But because there are enemies, there will be some disturbances. I mentioned earlier that fire element planets are not really welcomed in watery signs, especially in the fourth house, because they really don't know how to perform well there. And there's also Saturn's aspect. Any planet, especially when it's the Lord planet, gets stuck between the Sun and Saturn's opposition, and they can't perform well. If we look at this chart, you can see that the Lagna Lord has gone into the seventh house, and the seventh Lord has come into the Lagna. What does this native want? They want to be happy after marriage. Even your seventh lord has come to you. You are using your partner to be happy. You both want to fulfill your internal attributes through each other. And we talked about the house being about external attributes. If you look closely, the external and internal factors are deteriorating. How are they deteriorating? They are deteriorating through the sun. The sun, which is the Lord, and also an enemy of Saturn, is sitting together and creating problems in the marriage. So, there is a problem, and it is visible on the surface. I mentioned that when a house is bad, the world tries to safeguard the house and its Lord. For example, if someone's seventh house is bad, the marriage is bad. But if the Bhavesh is good, you are trying, you are putting in the effort to safeguard the marriage. And if the Karaka is bad, then no matter how good everything else is, your happiness feels film-like because the Karaka is the real happiness. In this case, if we look at the Karaka, it is in a dual sign, in the sixth house. Venus in the sixth house is not good. It is with Jupiter, and the association of Jupiter and Venus is also not considered very good for marriage. But since the Lagna Lord and the seventh Lord are together, they are constantly fighting, constantly having an ego battle. Whenever a relationship forms, it becomes a bit difficult to let go of each other. If the Lagna Lord is getting afflicted by going into the sixth, eighth, or 12th houses, then in the sixth house, or if enemies are taking over, the eighth Lord and bad Lord are taking over you. If you go into the 12th house, it's like working like a bell in a coal mine, but you are not happy. So the house is a resource, the house Lord is a purpose. One is working, and one is making you work. Who is dominating whom, and who is giving importance to the internal factors? By differentiating between both, you are understanding the house and the house Lord. Thank you so much.